Welcome. Today I'm on the range with my H&K 9mm P7M8 semi-automatic handgun. It's a really interesting firearm, and I haven't fired this gun in a long time, so I'm really excited to shoot it. I'm going to put some rounds through it, and then we'll talk about it some more. In my hands is an H&K P7M8 9mm semi-automatic handgun. Their very first model was called the PSP for Police Service Pistol. That model would have had a magazine release here on the butt, more European style. Later on it would morph into an ambidextrous magazine release near the trigger guard and a little more insulation in this area here. That's important because this is a delayed blowback handgun, which means that the blowback is delayed slightly by that little bit of gas pressure that is bled off every time the round is fired. It goes into a little chamber, and then it holds the slide closed momentarily so the bullet can clear the barrel, and then it goes through its normal function. All happens in an instant. You don't even realize it when you're firing. But what that does is allows the slide to be much lighter and slimmer than normally would be required to contain the recoil of a 9mm pistol. Therefore, the gun is easier to conceal and a lot slimmer than it normally would be. The later models would have a little bit of insulation in here because under a lot of firing, you'll notice that this area gets really warm and that you can find it when you put your finger in there to pull the trigger after a long day of training, it's noticeably hot. So it becomes almost uncomfortable, but it does take a lot of rounds for that to occur. There is a grip frame safety here that in front of the grip frame that you need to depress to cock the striker and to allow the trigger to be pulled. There is no slide stop or any levers anywhere on the outside of the handgun. So that means to lock it back, you have to treat it similar to the Walther PPK, which you use an empty magazine, insert the empty magazine into the pistol, rack the slide, and it will lock it back. And then it stays locked back and you can remove the magazine. If you're doing an emergency reload where the slide is locked back, all you have to do is insert a live magazine, squeeze the grip, and the gun is ready to fire. The striker is cocked and the gun is in battery and ready to fire. If you want to make the gun safe and holster it, you just release your grip and the striker uncocks itself. If you draw and you have to shoot, you'd squeeze the grip, the striker would cock itself and you're ready to go. The trigger is now able to be pulled. It takes 13 pounds of pressure to depress that frame there to allow it to be fired. Polygonally rifled barrel, fluted chamber for easy extraction. It does leave little stripes on the brass just like the MP5 does, but it doesn't hurt anything. You can reload it, no problem. For cleaning, there is just one little button here. You press that button, the slide comes up and off and over, just like the Walther, and you'll notice that the barrel is attached to the frame and very similar to the Walther, which gives it rigidity and allows it to maintain superior accuracy. It's an 8-round magazine. Plus one in the chamber would give you 9. And this particular model has night sights on it, which is the way it came from the factory. The gun was made in 1984, so those sights have gone through their service life. But I just want to leave them on there to keep the gun original. It originally was designed after the 1972 Olympic massacre, where Western police agencies were looking for a more effective handgun, and this was H&K's answer to that. A lot of German police would end up carrying these. The German government would buy these. German GSG-9 would eventually carry this. I think New Jersey State Police at one time carried this, but it never really caught on like the Glock did. and it never really sold in mass numbers like that. A little bit too expensive to make, and production, it was just a little hard to get their hands on them in large quantities unless you were a large state agency. They made them from 1976 to 2008, and as soon as they stopped making them, the price went up exponentially. I'm glad I found this many years ago before the price went too out of control. I've set up clear ballistics gel downrange, and I'm going to shoot 3 duty load type ammo into the ballistic gel. The first one is the 147 grain Hydra-Shock 9mm. The second one is the 147 grain Federal HST, and the third one is the Winchester 147 grain SXT. Let's see how they perform. Let's go downrange, take a look. The Winchester SXT traveled the farthest distance, followed by the 2 Federals, which are almost identical. Each one of those are at least traveling 15 to 16 inches in ballistic gel, more than enough for self-defense. And we're going to dig them out. We're going to take a closer look at them. They all expanded perfectly. I removed them out of the gel. The farthest one that traveled is the Winchester SXT. It traveled the farthest. Second farthest was the Federal Hydra-Shock. You can see the little stud in the middle there from the Hydra-Shock. And the one that I believe opened more and didn't travel as far, but I think the HST performed a little better as far as expansion. You can see how open that is. So all 3 performed perfectly. My favorite is the HST. I kind of like that load, with the Winchester coming in a close second. The Hydra-Shock was a good thing in its day, but I think there's better options out there now. Just for fun, I have an old can of spray foam that gummed up on the first day I used it. So it's pretty much 3/4 of a can that's useless. So I'm going to shoot it with the 9mm. We're going to start with the HST. I'm going to shoot another one with the Winchester SXT. We're going to see the difference. Here we go. Did you see that? Oh my God, it just looked like snow in the air. That was totally awesome. Let's do that again. Okay, we've reset, put another can of foam down there. I'm excited to see how this one's gonna work. This one's gonna be the Winchester SXT. We're gonna see the difference. Here we go. Nothing. It didn't do anything. Total loser. The first one was awesome. The second one was, what a letdown, huh? Well, there you have it. The H&K P7M8 8-shot 9mm has the front strap. You definitely have to squeeze it to make it work. And I like it. It's an awesome gun. It's definitely going to be collecting value over the years because they're hard to find as it is. And I'm really glad I bought this years ago when I did. So there you have it, the H&K P7M8.